on the side. I think it's hard to retire after a game like that, but I just don't know how much more his body can take at this point. That's my thing. Even though I think he should, in like in his mindset, he'll probably be like, I can go another round. If he can get 11 cracked ribs now, I just don't know if someone else lights him up again. I'm just worried that, especially because, he's got a great future in broadcasting ahead of him, I think, too. So, and he's also accomplished so much. I don't think 1 year is going to make such a big difference in the legacy, unless he wins the Super Bowl, obviously. But, he's still one of the top 10, 15 greatest quarterbacks to ever step foot on a football field because he's an unbelievable quarterback and he's defied the odds. But I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he's about as competitive as they come. And I know he's had some injuries this year, but I do think he's still in great shape. You can have an injury but still in great shape, and I don't think he doesn't look like a 42-year-old quarterback. I know I think it was last year that he said I'm kind of pissed off that Tom Brady's getting so much coverage over his health because I think I'm in pretty damn good shape too, and I think that's true. I mean, the 11 cracked rib, I think probably a bit of a fluke. And with a loaded roster like that, offensively, they've got Kamara, they've got Michael Thomas. On the defensive end, Hendrickson was like 3rd in sacks this year. Demario Davis is a stud. Marshawn Lattimore, great corner. They've got a loaded roster. They might have the best roster in the NFL, honestly, all around. So I think it's hard when you're a competitor and you got a great roster and you've been so close the past few seasons, and after a game like that to end it. I see 1 more year out of him. I don't know. He's a competitor, and I always do wonder how much does a broadcasting career play into the picture, because I do think he probably has a future in that. But when you're Drew Brees, you really want to cement your legacy. I don't think you want to end with a bad taste in your mouth like that game. So I want him to come back. I think he's certainly got a chance to retire, but I'm more on the he's going to come back way of thinking.
Let's talk a little bit about a quarterback that just recently retired, Phillip Rivers, right? I think one of the funniest and great trash talkers we ever had, because he never cursed everyone in trash talking, which baffled me, especially for how much he did talk. There's a case about the Hall of Fame thing. Look, I'll say, that draft class 2004, all quarterbacks that, had good careers in different ways, obviously. He had a great career. But obviously the thing that's going to loom over him is no Super Bowl titles, one AFC Championship game, despite the fact that I think he did play very well in the playoffs this year against the Bills. He did play really well. His QBR was like 91 or something like that from what I saw. And, when I take the side, like, I'm not sure he's first ballot, but I think he'll eventually get in because I think his accumulated stats can just push him over the edge. My thing is, if Joe Namath can get in the Hall of Fame, I think Phillip Rivers is much more worthy than Joe Namath. Joe Namath won that kind of game. He didn't have an outstanding career outside of that. It's a shame to see Phillip Rivers go, but I think, he probably needed to retire. He looked broken. He looked 39 years old, even though he played well. He looked 39. But I'm definitely going to miss that guy's trash talk. So just give me your thoughts about like what you will remember kind of remember of the quarterback of Phillip Rivers.
Well, first thing that comes to mind, obviously, is just the weirdest looking throwing motion I've ever seen. But it's fun. When I look back on his career in terms of Hall of Fame credentials, I think to be in the Hall of Fame, at least what I think you should have to be in the Hall of Fame is multiple elite characteristics. Whether you're excellent at reading schemes, or you've got a great arm, or you're incredibly accurate. The only thing that I really think is elite about Phillip Rivers is his durability. I think he started like something crazy, like 250 straight games. And that's part of the reason that he accrued such remarkable all-time career stats. But I don't know. Watching him the past 10 years, I've never looked at him and said, that's an elite quarterback. He's probably been in the top 10 for many years, but has he been in the top 5? I don't think so. So I don't know. I think the Hall of Fame is really made up of exceptional talent. I think he's a great talent. I don't know if he's exceptional talent, but he's fun. He's fun to watch. The trash talking that's Hall of Fame trash talking. Maybe that's his second elite characteristic. But in terms of his play, the fact that he hasn't even been to a Super Bowl, it's a knock. We'll see. I think he'll get Hall of Fame votes. Maybe he gets in, but if it was me, I want to keep the Hall of Fame to truly exceptional talents, and I think he's just not quite there.
If you like that clip from the Shred Takes podcast show, I encourage you to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, if you want to check out the full episode in its entirety, go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify to view the full episodes.